It felt like a film. The constant messages, the flowers, the way they looked at you like you were the only person in the room, in the world. The way they said so early, so easily, "I have never felt this way about anyone." And you thought, finally. You did not fall for a person. You fell for a performance. And that is not a weakness. That is not naivety. That is what happens when someone who has spent years studying how to manufacture intimacy turns their full attention toward you. This video is going to decode love bombing. Not just what it looks like from the outside, but what it is actually doing to your brain, why a covert narcissist uses it, and what the 30-day window reveals about who they really are. Because once you understand the mechanism, you cannot unsee it. Love bombing is not simply being enthusiastic about someone new. Everyone who has felt the electricity of early attraction knows what excitement feels like. Love bombing is something different. It is something colder. Love bombing is the deliberate, calculated flooding of another person's emotional system with attention, affection, gifts, and intensity in order to create dependency before the target has had enough time to form a clear-eyed assessment of who they are actually dealing with. Read that again slowly. Before you have had time to see them clearly. That is the entire point. A covert narcissist does not love bomb because they are overwhelmed by feeling. They love bomb because it works. It accelerates attachment. It bypasses your normal evaluation process. It makes you feel chosen, seen, irreplaceable. And once you feel that way, you will work to protect the relationship that gave you that feeling. Even when the relationship begins to hurt you. Here is something that separates the covert narcissist from the overt. The overt narcissist tends to rely on status, on their looks, their money, their social position, to attract attention. The covert narcissist has a different tool entirely. Empathy performed. A covert narcissist in the love bombing phase will mirror you. They will listen to you describe your favorite things and slowly, quietly adopt them as their own. They will pick up on what you are missing in your life, what wound is still open, what longing has not been met, and they will position themselves as the answer to it. If you have spent years feeling unseen, they will make you feel profoundly seen. If you have spent years feeling like too much, they will tell you that you are exactly enough. If you have longed for emotional depth in a relationship, they will give you the most intense emotional experience of your life. And it will feel real, because they are good at it, because they have done it before. The 30-day window is not arbitrary. 30 days is approximately how long it takes for an anxious attachment response to become established, for the brain's reward system to link a specific person to the feeling of relief, safety, and pleasure. 30 days is enough time to create a habit. And dependency, at its core, is a habit of the nervous system. In the first week, the attention is flattering. The messages are frequent. The compliments are specific, unusually specific, targeted at the exact things you are most uncertain about in yourself. In the second week, the pace escalates. Plans are made rapidly. They want to spend every available moment with you. They begin to speak about the future with a certainty that should feel too soon, but instead feels like security. By the third week, you are integrated. Your routines have merged with theirs. You are telling friends about them. You are thinking about them during moments that used to belong only to you. By the fourth week, you are attached. And they know it, because they have been watching, the entire time. This is not metaphor. This is neuroscience. When you receive intense, unpredictable positive attention from another person, your brain releases dopamine, the same neurochemical involved in every form of compulsive seeking behavior. The inconsistency of when the attention arrives is not accidental. It is the precise mechanism that makes the reward most powerful. Gambling machines are designed on the same principle. Intermittent reinforcement, rewards that arrive unpredictably, creates stronger, more persistent attachment than consistent reward ever could. A covert narcissist who love bombs is not consciously engineering a dopamine loop, but they are doing it nonetheless. The floods of attention followed by brief moments of withdrawal. The warmth followed by a flash of coolness. The intensity that is occasionally, subtly withdrawn, just enough to make you reach for it. This is why, even when something feels slightly off, you dismiss it, because the feeling of connection is so strong that your brain does not want to let it go. Here is what makes love bombing so effective on people who are self-aware. You notice things. You notice that they move too fast. You notice that some of the compliments felt almost rehearsed. You notice that when you tried to slow things down, something shifted in them, briefly, almost imperceptibly, before the warmth returned even stronger. You noticed. And then you talked yourself out of it, Because you had been taught, by every romantic story, every film, every cultural script around love, that intensity is the signal of genuine feeling. That someone who pursues you relentlessly must truly want you. That someone who makes you feel this seen, this chosen, this loved, could not possibly be performing. A covert narcissist understands this cultural script. They rely on it. They know that the instinct most people will override is the instinct that says something is wrong. At some point, the love bombing ends. Not all at once. Not with an announcement. It fades. The message is slow. The gifts stop. The intensity that once felt directed entirely at you begins to feel rationed. And you, because you are now attached, because your nervous system has been trained to chase this particular form of warmth, begin to work for it. This is the transition. This is what the love bombing was preparing you for. Because once you are working to recover the feeling, the power has transferred. You are no longer being assessed as a potential source of narcissistic supply. You are already the supply. And now the covert narcissist can begin the real dynamic. The one built on your need to earn back the version of them that seemed, at the beginning, to love you without condition. The love bombing was not the relationship. The love bombing was the trapdoor. If you are watching this and recognizing the pattern, either from your past or from something that is happening right now, I want you to understand something clearly. The fact that you fell for it does not tell you that you are broken. It tells you that you are human. It tells you that you have a nervous system that responds to warmth and attention the way all human nervous systems are wired to respond. It tells you that you were targeted by someone who is, whatever else they may be, highly skilled at identifying exactly what a person needs and providing a temporary simulation of it. What you experienced was real. What they performed was not. And there is a difference between those two things that matters enormously, because it means the capacity for connection you brought into that relationship is still yours. It was not the love that was wrong. It was the object of it. You cannot always stop a love-bombing campaign in the moment, but you can slow it down. You can create enough space to observe. Notice how they respond when you pull back slightly. Genuine interest tolerates pace. Love-bombing cannot. When you slow down, when you introduce a boundary, when you say I need a little time, watch what happens in them. Watch the expression that crosses their face before they recover. Watch whether the warmth that returns feels like the same warmth or a recalibrated version of it. Notice whether the compliments are about you or about how you make them feel. A person who genuinely sees you will say, "You are thoughtful." A love bomber tends to say, "You are the only person who has ever understood me." One is about you. One is about what you provide. Notice whether they are interested in your life or in acquiring access to it. Do they ask questions and listen? Or do they ask questions in order to find the next opening to mirror something back? Do they want to know you, or do they want to map you? The last thing I want to say is this. Love bombing works on strong people. It works on perceptive people. It works on people who have done a great deal of inner work. Because inner work makes you self-aware, and self-awareness creates the very openness that a covert narcissist will exploit. Being vulnerable is not a flaw. Trusting someone who performed trustworthiness convincingly is not a failure. The covert narcissist ended the love bombing. They withdrew the warmth. They created the distance. And at every stage, you were responding to something they chose to do, not something you caused. You were not too much. You were not too little. You were not broken or naive or foolish. You were targeted by someone who knows exactly what to look for. And now, so do you. If this video helped you understand what happened, share it with someone who is still inside it. Sometimes the words that reach us are the ones that come through someone we trust. In the next video, we decode something else the covert narcissist does, and it is hiding in plain sight. They pretend to be helpless. They perform vulnerability, incompetence, and need, not because they are struggling, but because it is one of the most effective ways they have of keeping you close, keeping you responsible, and keeping the control firmly in their hands. That is coming next. And once you see it, you will see it everywhere. I will see you there.